No, wow. Oh, wow. Um, Tom Sheridan, I have no idea who you are, but man, did you drop a bombshell on people here today. People talk about me giving some bad takes, and I have. We all have, I think, from time to time. Say something a little out of turn, say something as a knee jerk reaction, say something out of anger. It's human nature, right? And this man clearly is upset about a few things, and he's struggling. He's struggling to get comic book sales. He's struggling to get his message across, and it's all political. It absolutely is political. And people have asked me today if I'm going to cover this situation. And I was on the fence about it because it is political, right? And I don't want to be caught in the middle of politics. You know, I said it the other day on my live stream that I like to try and be in the center. You know, we have said this 1,000 times. We've talked to everyone from the extreme left all the way up to the right, okay? And everyone in between on this comic book program. As long as you're cool to me, we will be cool to you, okay? It doesn't matter if you are voting Biden. It doesn't matter if you're voting Trump, okay? As long as you come on here and you want to talk comics with a clear, objective point of view, that is something we are interested in. This man here, I don't believe is doing that, okay? This man here isn't in the middle. He doesn't care about anything other than his agenda and his personal message, okay? We're going to watch the video. I'm going to comment on it. I might even pause it. It's only 2 minutes long. And then we're going to dive over to Tyler's Draw and Talk Twitter, where he's talked about this, and I think that might be a good thread to sort of go through and have a look. What do you guys think? But before that, here's a word from our sponsor. Ah, yes, and if you guys were excited that the sponsor was me, Austin, it was me all along, then congratulations, we had a good time. Guys, go back, Nyobi Penguina. 19 days left on Kickstarter. Help make it happen for myself and Ben Dunn. Let's get crossovers to be a popular thing in comic books once again. Now, on to the video. Here we go, and I'm going to turn this up a little bit so everyone can hear. I'll unmute this guy. Now, just for context, he is a writer over at DC Comics. I believe he might even be the writer of the Green Lantern book that has caused so much controversy. Here we go.
DC's Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, and I just opened up a box of advanced copies of issue 1, which look amazing. This is the main cover, which also gets a virgin foil variant, and that's by the great and powerful David Talaski. There's also 2 other amazing variants, one by John K. Snyder III, and this beautiful portrait by Nick Robles. I am here to ask you a favor. The book comes out next DC Tuesday, October 24th, but already the haters and the queerphobes are out in force, doing everything they can to see that this book tanks. They use code and they make it sound like they have legit problems with a book they haven't read yet. But the truth...
Assumptions. They have codes and say they have legit problems. But he discards that, right? The fact of the matter is, if you don't agree with this guy, then you're speaking in code. You're using a dog whistle. You got another agenda. You hate the queer folk. It couldn't just be that the book might look fucking bad. I don't know. I haven't really seen it. But I've seen this rhetoric before 1,000 times, right? It is us versus them. You versus me. My team versus your team. Blue versus red. Whatever it is. This is a clear example of not trying to heal the comic book community, not trying to bring conservatives and Democrats together because, my God, you ask either side and that sounds like sacrilege. No. Fuck that. It's got to be our narrative and our narrative only. Let's continue.
Truth is, they just don't like that there's a queer hero in the upper ranks of the DCU.
Incorrect. What I think they don't like is established heroes being changed from their original conception, right? Now, this Green Lantern book might be a completely new Green Lantern. I don't know. But I'm talking in the general sense. You know, when you say, for instance, Mags Visaggio wanting to make Connor Kent trans and call him Connie. Yeah, I think people do take exception to that. I don't think queer characters are necessarily a problem to anyone. If you look at North Star and Alpha Flight, and then go on to join the X-Men, he's been gay pretty much for the inception. Okay, you got Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy clearly in a lesbian relationship, and people dig it. No one gives a fuck. But there are times when you can tell that something is done just for a political narrative. There are times when you can tell that something is done just so that people like this can make videos. You can tell that things are done to wage war on a grand political scale. And it is a war, right? Some people say the culture war doesn't exist. It most absolutely does exist. I don't like the war. I like it like the way it was 15 years ago, where everyone was chill. Sure, there were issues, but now every little minute issue is a huge battle, right? Let's keep going.
The only way we can shut these people down is to make this book an undeniable success. The only way to prove to all the big publishers that there's a huge market for authentic stories about LGBTQIA plus characters, and that these stories are for everyone.
If there was a huge market for that, why aren't the books flying off the shelves? Because for the last several years, 4 or 5 for sure, Marvel and DC have both been pushing that their comic books are no longer, for the white man, right? The white 40-year-old man, we hear that quite often, right? That they're for everyone. But what they really mean, because if they were for everyone, then they'd be for people like you, people like me, okay? People who vote red, But they're not, okay? What they are for is for people who vote like him and think on social issues in the same manner that he does. And if you don't, you are wrong.
Is to buy the heck out of books like this. This one's only 6 issues, and each one has a few variants. So I'm asking, if you have the means, buy them up. Buy extras to give to people you think really need to read it. Now, you might say this sounds like a great way for Tim Sheridan to make a bundle in royalties. Well, no, I won't make a penny, because every single royalty I receive from these 6 issues will go straight to a charity that's very important to me and that I've supported for a long time, the Elton John AIDS Foundation, which...
That's great. Giving to charity is always good, especially, like a foundation like the Elton John Foundation for AIDS. I get it. Noble. Some people don't do it to be noble, though, right? Some people do it to virtual signal. Now, I don't know this man's intentions, so I'm not going to guess. But he is telling you to buy extra copies, right? He's not saying what the story's about. He's just saying, hey, to shut up, the people who might disagree with me, you need to spend money. You need to spend a lot of money. You need to buy extra copies of a book that you probably don't even want.
Works to prevent HIV stigma and provide compassionate care for all communities. I am asking you to join the core. If you care about truth and justice, about shining a light in the darkness, if you think comics are and should continue to be for everyone, or if you just want to force these comicsgate trolls back under the bridge they crawled out from.
And that's what it's really about, right? It has nothing to do with promoting a good message. It has nothing to do with the book itself, right? It has everything to do with shutting down his opposition. That's it.
Please support our book and send a message that the bullying and the lies and the hate have to stop.
Great. I want you to follow your own example. Your bullying, your lies, and your hate towards people who do not think like you needs to stop.
Everyone deserves to see themselves in comics.
Correct, including people who may vote conservative.
Everyone needs allies, and if you're an ally, now is the time to step up.
Ally is code, right? He wants to talk code, I'll talk code. Ally is code for you are on the far progressive left, period.
Up. We outnumber them.
No, what? Since when?
So let's pool our power, vote.
If you had outnumbered us in your comic book power buying abilities, then Marvel would be selling comics in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of copies. They haven't done that since the 90s, my friend. And the people that are still buying comics for the most part are old fans who just can't let go from the 90s. Guys like myself who still wish that there was hope, that things are like the way they used to be. and they're not. And now you're struggling to make sales, and you're trying to make it political that you should buy my book because fuck the guys that I'm against. You're no better than the people you criticize.
With our wallets and beat these assholes.
Assholes.
Add as
shit.
many of these 4 variant covers for Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, to your pull list today. Pick them up in store next week, Tuesday the 24th. Thank you so much.
Wow. All right. So we are going to pause here just for a second, and we're going to see what the public thinks of what's going on. We'll be right back. If you guessed it and you said, I bet you any money LP is the sponsor of his own video, you would be 100% correct. I am. We are currently crowdfunding Niobe Penguina #1, the crossover campaign. With 20 days left to go, we're at 178 backers. We have raised 7,356 Canadian dollars, which is about $1.52 US. Maybe enough to get me a cup of coffee. Help me get lunch at McDonald's by, pledging to this campaign. Pick one out of 6 great covers we got to choose from. It is a 30-page book where Niobe teams up with her good friend Penguina to go on an epic classic superhero adventure. It's a book you don't want to miss. All right, we're back. We're back in black, baby. Right here on the Draw and Talk Twatter. So, Tyler had posted the video, but if you go against this guy, right? If you go against this dude, if you offer a different point of view, a different perspective, and we're all allowed to have that. It's not a crime. Then Tim Sheridan is going to block you. I'm going to post my video to him, and I'm sure I'm going to get a block. But I hope, Tim, before you block me, I hope to God that you listen to actually what's being said to you. All right? Take it in. You want to sell some comics? You got to stop with the culture war bullshit. You got to learn to come to the table, reach across the table, and shake the hands of those you hate in an effort to make peace. All right? So, let's see what's being said. Writers need to understand what happens when you niche down readers. Green Lantern, story about fighting a villain who is evil to civilians equals big audience. Green Lantern, story about fighting a villain and they just happen to be gay equals mid-audience. Green Lantern is about being in the closet equals tiny. Whoa. Yeah. Look, I'm not saying there isn't a market for LGBTQ. I'm just saying I don't think it's as big as Mr. Tim Sheridan here wishes that it was. Okay? Again, I don't see these books flying off the shelf. This is a business. And in a business, you're in the business to make money, which is why there are alternatives out there, such as myself and many, many, many others. You don't have to be stuck reading stuff that you find to be unappealing. And you're not a criminal, and you're not a Nazi for doing so. Tyler goes on to say, I don't care the sexuality of characters, but you have to remember the genre of book you're writing and what readers expect. Superhero books are about the good guys fighting bad guys. That's the focus, not their gender, sexuality, or anything else. Focus on the punching. See, to them, though, right? To them, from their point of view, the people that, would say, I don't want to read about a gay Green Lantern, they are the bad guys. That's how they feel about it, right? And they think that they are the good guys fighting the bad guys. And for them, it's like the Captain America thing. When Spider-Man took Captain America's shield, right, in the movie, I think it was the Winter Soldier, and Spider-Man goes, you think you're right, and that makes you dangerous. It's the same thing here. Also, me getting blocked for this tweet is weak sauce. I said nothing offensive. We have Professor Teenan here in the twatter. He was a great guest last night. He says, it gets worse when you actually read some of the material. Trust me. Yeah, I saw some of the panels. Not for me. Could be for you, but not for me. And I think that's the ultimate lesson, right? I do believe, and I've said this before, so before anyone goes hating on me, that there is indeed room on the shelf for everything. I want to have the same fair playing ground as this man, right here. Okay, I think we all deserve it. I think the world is a very diverse place, but diversity doesn't mean progressive left. Diversity means diversity. Whether you are a liberal, centrist, conservative, Democrat, here in Canada, here in the US, it doesn't matter, right? I get it. Things are polarized. But we're never going to save comics if we don't somehow learn to come together. Thief of Heart says he's also failing by not talking about the plot or anything about the comic except the lead is gay. Just buy this comic to show you're a good person, like a priest passing down the collection plate. People rarely act on guilt tactics, especially when they've been used often. Revolve says the worst part here is that he isn't even writing what his audience likes. He writes what his enemies hate. That's an interesting statement. The readers were never part of the picture. You can even say that CG is his real audience here because that's who, in his mind, that he was writing. He is the hateful one. He's definitely sending a message, right? And, people often talk about not giving others attention. And we're giving this guy attention. But attention's not necessarily a good thing, right? When it comes to the Wheelers, I've often been criticized. Why are you giving them a spotlight? Why are you giving them attention? Because it's not the fucking attention that they want. And I don't think this guy's going to get the attention that he wants either. I mean, I can't wait to get my block, I guess, right? If you can't have an open dialogue, your mind is so shut to follow sort of one path, then excuse me, the battle's already lost, right? The battle is already lost. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload this video, for better or for worse, because it is just one man's opinion, right? You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to not agree with me. All we're saying here is guys like this are fighting the culture war in a manner that he accuses his enemies of, and very much doing the same thing, right? So it used to be, two rights equal a right, two wrongs equal a wrong, and a right and a wrong equals a wrong. It's like two wrongs to these people equals a right, and that's sort of the issue, right? You know what I mean? They're gonna fight fire with fire. Instead of just trying to put the fire out, when you fight fire with fire, and again, I'm guilty of this. What happens when you fight fire with fire, folks? The fire grows even bigger, right? To the point where it's almost impossible to put out. Trust me, I know. I live in Canada. We have the Canadian wildfires. It's nasty. But, this is just one man's opinion. Like I said, just like Tim Sheridan has his opinion, and he's welcome to it. It doesn't mean we have to agree with him. And it doesn't make us bad guys if we have an issue. Just like it doesn't make him a bad guy if he has an issue with me. It just means that we are diverse people with diverse thoughts and diverse opinions on many diverse subjects. This is LP. We'll talk to you again real soon. Peace.